What's up, guys? It is Christian Reacts bringing you another reaction video. We are looking at more new music by Phora in this one, In My Eyes, off of his new record. We're really excited. His last new one we looked at was God, and loved it. And everything I've heard about In My Eyes is that the song is spectacular. So I'm really really excited. I know I say that a lot, but Phora is awesome. People said this song is incredible, so give it a big thumbs up if you're excited like I am. We're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Phora, In My Eyes, let's go. There's no music video for this one, guys. Phora, In My Eyes, spelled with a Z. Why not?
Be recognized by the OGs and spray paint in the alleyway while he smokes weed. Middle finger up like fuck the judge and the police. Running through the streets late night so we don't sleep. He went to where he stashed his Glock, said look out for the cops. All he ever knew was the streets, always out on the block. As he pours a little liquor for his homies to pass, he starts to wonder how long it'll last.
The hi-hat is really good right now.
He never prayed to God cause he ain't get no answer. All he feels God did was give his grandma cancer. Only faith he had left was his Glock 9. Hustled on the corner, tag his name on a stop sign. No mercy for his enemies. Agony and ecstasy, the only thing that ever made his heart warm was a Hennessy. He sipped from the bottle until the last drop. And he said, sorry mama, but I just can't stop. I can't stop, yeah.
That hurt. Sorry guys, I'm hungry.
He ran the streets ducking one time. R.I.P. tap for his homie who just died. He done went to 16 funerals by 17. On his 18th birthday, all he needed was 1-9 with 20 in the clip. That's how you survive in the streets he was from. Only way to stay alive, just trying to see 21. For his homies, he ride for him. His homies, he die for him. Ain't scared of death, cause he knows eventually it'll come. Flowers and candles filled a memorial on the street in memory of his boy that got shot last week. He left behind 2 little girls. He had a family, they gather here every night in hopes that God might speak. But the whole time he had murder on his mind. All he thought was payback and loaded up his 9. And he got with his boys and he hopped inside the whip, went to an enemy spot and started shooting out the ride. Now it's hard to say if it's wrong or right. And now he's behind bars with a case to fight. Cause in the end, nobody wins, no matter what situation. It's never your job to take a life.
Wow. He's saying it like it is, guys. It's real.
I had to visit you cause your moms don't wanna see you this way. I pray to God every night to fight your demons away. I just feel like I'm losing you, homie. Can't you see what they doing? They just using you, man. They fooling you, homie. The streets don't love us, man. They never did. Always so worried about death that we can't ever live. See, the streets got you brainwashed. They fucking with your head. That's when he looked at me and said, I lost my only 2 brothers to the streets that I rep. Besides my mom, that's the only fam I really got left. The only family I ever had. They treated me like a son, I ain't have a dad. See, the streets taught me loyalty, respect, and how to live by a code. They never taught me no different, this is all that I know. Even though your pops was crazy and he wasn't always there. Even though he made mistakes, homie, that motherfucker cares. See, I can't say the same about mine, homie. Really, I could give 2 fucks if he died, homie. After the way that he beat my mother, he ain't never love us. That motherfucker's already dead in my eyes, homie. I told him, a real man stands up on his own and doesn't need a fucking gang to have his back cause he's grown. I know you think nobody cares, but man, that ain't true. Your mom's already lost 2, man, she can't lose you. You think these cats would do the same for you? Think they take the blame for you? Think these motherfuckers would put their family through pain for you? But where's your hood at when it's all said and done? You ain't pull the trigger when that bullet shot from that gun. Taking the blame cause you don't wanna snitch, dog, is you dumb? Taking care of your moms makes you gangster, not where you from. Dog, is you dumb? Taking care of your moms makes you gangster, not where you from. He said his killer be killed, understand that shit. I got accessory to murder, dog, they plan that shit. How dare you come visit me and act like you better? Motherfucker, we from the same place, I can't stand that shit. You always preach God, but do you really believe in him? If we all sinners, man, what the fuck do we mean to him? Either he don't exist or the devil is beating him. When my grandma was dying, where was God when she needed him? Listen, you can go your own way, but this the life for me. Don't call, don't visit, and don't write to me. We all sin, you know better than the next man. You ain't God, you can't tell me what's wrong or right for me. Some people meant to win, I was meant to fail. Some people meant for heaven, I was meant for hell. Some people meant to live and be free, but not me. Been in the system since 7, I was meant for jail. I guess nobody is perfect. Tell my mama I'm sorry, but there's no way to reverse it. I guess nobody is perfect. Tell my mama I'm sorry, but there's no way to reverse it.
Alright guys, that was In My Eyes by Phora. Wow, it was a pretty deep song. I'll have to read some of the lyrics to fully understand what exactly he was talking about. It was kind of, I mean, he told the story, and they talked about his grandma with cancer, and he's kind of blaming God for stuff. And at some points, he was also blaming himself, calling himself a sinner, that he's meant for hell, he's not meant for heaven. There are lots of themes going on in the song. All lyrics and message aside, Phora definitely played with his flow pattern a little bit more in this one, which I enjoyed. You know, my only real critique of Phora is his flow patterns get a little bit repetitive. He gets by because his lyrics are incredible, his storytelling is incredible, his messages are incredible. This one, he definitely did mix up the flow pattern a little bit more than he usually does. The tempo was mixed up. The beats were good as always. I really enjoyed the hi-hat at the beginning. It sounded really, really good, and then the snare popped in. Yeah, I'm glad he switched up the flow pattern, hoping that's going to become more of a thing for Phora. Switching up the flow, switching up the beats and the tempos, that sort of thing. But I'm going to go ahead and dive into some of the lyrics real fast. I'll see you guys in one moment. So this part kind of stood out to me that really said a lot about where, I don't know if he's talking about himself again, if he's just saying he's still talking about himself, but the character he's talking about, he never prayed to God because he didn't get no answer. All he feels God did was give his grandma cancer. And in a way, if I was put in those shoes and I was crying out to God for an answer, and then your grandma gets cancer, that's almost, in a way, I'm not saying that is the answer. I'm saying it probably isn't, but he probably perceives it that way from being in a bad spot. You might see getting your grandma cancer as sort of the answer. And it's hard, I can't imagine how hard it would be to move on from that point, truly believing that possibly God gave your grandma cancer and you're looking for an answer, and that's all you get. That's why all his faith that he had left is in his Glock 9, because at least you know what you're going to get. I know it's really kind of a dark thing, but it's reliable. He has some sort of control when it comes to that. So that's kind of a dark place that he's in, but you kind of understand what leads him to having faith in his Glock 9 over having faith in God. When Phora starts talking about funerals and death that he's had in his life, it's kind of surprising how different it is than my life, where he's grown up with death constantly around him, saying he went to 16 funerals by 17. I've been to one funeral for someone that I really loved and cared about, and that was my grandpa. It wasn't a sudden death or anything like that. Phora is a guy, or the character he's talking about, has grown up around it. And when he's talking about, are you afraid of death? He's like, no, because he's used to it. He knows it's a part of life. And he's like, it'll come, and when it happens, it happens. It almost seems like what he's trying to say. And that's a really different perspective than I have, but that's just because our pasts are so different. For me, death seems something really far away, and I want it to happen on like 80 years old. For him, it could happen at any moment. He's okay with that. I'm more afraid of it happening down the road. He's more okay with it happening even closer up. I find that really interesting, his viewpoint. And then I do think Phora is talking about a friend when he's rapping, because now he's kind of brought himself into the situation. So that kind of clears it up for me in the one of the verses where he's talking about how he's talking to his friend who's given his life to the streets, to his gang, saying that he's lost his family. The gang is his family now. They taught him about loyalty, rules. He feels like he's at home there. And then Phora's like telling him he's basically losing himself to the gang. He's losing who he is and his morals, his identity to become the gang. That he still has family outside of that. I mean, he still has his mom. He lost 2 brothers, I believe, but he still has his mom. He still has 4, and he doesn't need a gang at his back to stand up and be who he is. That's what Phora is trying to communicate to him. It doesn't seem like he's very successful in the song, though. It sounds like Phora is failing. And then at the end of the song, he still has kind of a poor perspective of himself, and Phora kind of does this a lot. He identifies with negative traits of himself instead of the positive, where he says, if I can find, I just had it, if we all sinners, then what do we mean to him as in God? Either he doesn't exist or the devil's beaten him. He's basically saying, since everyone obviously is a sinner, everyone's done wrong, how can God look at that and see something good? And if we're talking strictly religiously, which Phora is some form of Christian, whether it's Catholic, Protestant, whatever he is, they believe that, and I believe, that Jesus died for the sins. So when God is looking at Phora, he would see someone sinless versus a sinner, where God's identifying him as one thing, where Phora is identifying himself as another, and he's beating himself up for that. I know I talked about in the last songs. I forget which one it was. I think it might have been God again, when I was talking about perspective. If you see yourself one way, you'll perceive other people as seeing you the same way, even if it's false. If you love yourself, you're more likely to see other people showing love to you. If you hate yourself, even if people are showing love to you, you won't see it that way. So that's what I get from that. I'll give the song a 7.5 out of 10. Really good message, really good lyrics. They started to play with the flow pattern a little bit, which I really did enjoy. If he can really get the flow working and really get his best storytelling abilities, like he's done with Sinner, My Story, The Cold. So probably some of my favorite ones, where he tells really good stories. If he can get a flow going with that, like a really good intricate flow pattern, that's bumping up to 9-10 area. So he's starting to get there. 7.5 for this one. I really did enjoy it. If you guys want new music requests, drop it in the comment section below. Sorry guys, I can't talk apparently. Give the video a big thumbs up. Keep giving thumbs up to requests that you want to listen to. If you are new, please go ahead and subscribe. If you did make it all the way to the end of the video, shout out to you. Let me know down below. And as always guys, thank you so very much for watching. I'll see you next time.